begging Christ after he's been transfigured on the mountain, coming down with the oil shining off his face and completely transfigured. The people, amazed by him, this man hits his knees, begs him to help him with his son. The love for his son compels him to humble himself to the lowest possible point that he can, asking, all these disciples couldn't help him, Jesus, can you help me? And his immediate response, because physician, heal thyself, you're empowered with the same spirit, the same gift, the same discipline, the same perspective. Why are you, all of you, using anointing oil every day? When you anoint your head, you're consecrating yourself to God. It's part of your ritual. You go through the bath, you put the anointing oil on, and this is the Jewish culture. So in Jesus's perspective, he's seeing them have everything that they need and not understanding why they can't do what they need to do. So his rebuke is one to help people edify themselves, to better themselves, to upgrade the use and the intention of the cannabis that is in the holy anointing oil. That being said, he mentions to them in the accounts of the Gospels that they need to use prayer and fasting. Well, fasting requires, as the other scriptures that are mentioned here, using the oil. The oil of gladness is used, oil that carried a chrism. That was the common man's anointing oil. As far as we can tell, this was a common practice for that region. An entire livelihood or salary for the year would have been buying one of these hens of oil. And in this culture, it was a symbol of unity and of camaraderie and respect, because you could very noticeably see who had been anointed. And they may have had anointing oil that did not contain as much as it should have. This might have been the ulterior heads up that Jesus was giving when he mentions you have to have prayers. Prayers, well, throughout the scriptures, especially in the book of Exodus, where we get the censer, the use of the chrism oil along with the altar of incense, where they're burning coals, which has concentrated hash, has concentrated cannabis in it. And he's saying that these are the prayers of the saints. Furthermore, in the book of Revelations, chapter 8, it specifies that the angel delivers a censer and violently throws it to the earth to say, wake up, here's an earthquake, this is what y'all need, this is what you're missing. And the censer is not only a metaphor, but a figure for you to be able to see the smoke, is to correlate the prayer. So the communion with God was directly tied to the inhalation, communal use of the intention of cannabis used for divinatory shamanic rites to talk with God. So when he's talking to them, he's saying, clarify. First, use your intentions properly. Prayer. Get your hash. Get your concentrate. And then fasting. Well, fasting is not just where you go without food. It's a dedication and a purpose. So I'm not going to eat until this person gets right. The things to note by this is specifying fasting means calling for an anointing, because you consecrate a fast. As a community, we all come together and consecrate a fast. We all put the oil on. What is really amazing is that the fat around our liver is what stores the cannabinoids. So when you fast, the reserves of cannabis that's in your system, in the fatty liver and all of those kind of issues that we see today, if we had the actual cannabis in our diet as it's supposed to be, it would be processing when we fasted. So as a society, if we were to fast, whatever cannabis that was in our fat cells would burn off, and it would raise us up. More so, we're using the oil. The oil all over your hands, your face, everything else. When you touch something, according to Exodus chapter 30, where Moses had anointed everything in the tabernacle with the holy anointing oil. Exodus chapter 30, verse 29, you shall sanctify them, that they may be most holy. Whatever touches them shall be holy. You shall anoint everything, and whatever touches it shall become holy. And when the process is used from sacred, that's just the ingredients of everybody as a community, giving their first fruits and the intention of the best they can. And then they use the art of the perfumer, as the passage in Psalms 104 says, wine to gladden the heart. Well, wine was used as an extraction method. It was where we get perfume, and its use in Exodus chapter 30 would be in a correlation to a concentrate. So when he's mentioning using the oil, he's referencing using something that's been dedicated to be used for God, but a concentrated form. So when an epileptic kid is here and they can't fix it, you got to understand what's really going on. You got to see the context of what the healing methods that Christ is using to empower them, to educate them, to let them know, you're light on the hash and you don't have the anointing right. Get you, and he's coming down off the mountain glowing with this stuff. I mean, the sun is beaming. Obviously, he's been up there at night, and now it's daylight. So he's coming down the hill, sun at his back, just glowing with beautiful image of Christ before he does this miracle. And I leave you with this. It's a blessing to know the truth, but it's a high responsibility to live the truth.